Forget the skyscrapers or the glittering lights of Piccadilly Circus. The truth about London isn't in what you see, but in what you're stepping on. I spent 100 hours delving into the heart of this city and realized that the world's most bustling capital is actually a multi-layered, breathing graveyard. Just one fall through the asphalt, and you will realize you aren't standing on soil and stone at all. You are standing on a giant cushion of bones and madness. I have slipped through the cracks of time, where screams from the 17th century are still imprisoned behind the concrete of modern train stations. In the thick darkness, just by closing your eyes, you can easily feel the pulse of rivers chained beneath the earth, hear the panting breaths of children who have never seen the sun, and touch the desperate claw marks of souls saponified within the brick and stone. London has concealed everything with a perfect facade, but deep within its core lies a labyrinth of curses waiting to erupt. This is not an urban exploration trip. This is 100 hours of confronting things that should have been buried forever. Are you ready to see what you stand up for every day without ever truly knowing what it is? Let's get started right now. In my 100-hour journey deep into the heart of London, my first stop wasn't an architectural marvel, but a mummy. It's not in a tomb. It's chained right under the busiest avenues. Welcome to the River Fleet, London's buried monster. In Roman times, the Fleet was once a crystal-clear river, a ribbon of crystal winding through the heart of the city. But look at what humans have done when they started in the name of industrialization. Throughout the 19th century, the Fleet River was transformed into a massive waste dump. Waste from the Smithfield slaughterhouses, animal carcasses, household waste. There's even a rumor involving the bodies of the poor who couldn't afford a proper burial. Everything is dumped down here. What's the result? The disaster known as the Great Stink. It wasn't just the Fleet, but the entire sewer system of that time emptied directly into the Thames, turning the river into the city's common belly. The stench was so terrible that members of Parliament at the Houses of Parliament had to soak the curtains in chloride of lime in order to continue their meetings. Instead of trying to clean the flow, the city administrators of the time chose a more philosophical solution. If you can't smell it, it doesn't exist. They built a massive brick arch system, trapping the entire river and pouring asphalt over it. London has chosen to build its glamour right on top of decay, hoping that the darkness will never find a way out. But you know, dirt can cover things up, but the scent of deceit always lingers beneath the surface. And if you have the opportunity to go below, which is usually only for those crazy enough or professional sewer workers, you'll see a massive brick prison built by Joseph Bazalgette. Beneath the Holborn Viaduct area, the riverbed reveals soaring, eerie, and slippery Gothic brick arches. The scariest thing here isn't the darkness, but the sounds. Due to the arched structure, the sound of flowing water is amplified many times over, transforming into a wild roar. Even a small sound from you can create an echo that sounds like someone is running right behind you. It's the feeling of someone trespassing on the territory of a captive mummy in some sections. You'll see rusty iron blocks as sharp as monster fangs, waiting in ambush, and never let the silence fool you. Just a sudden rain on the ground can cause the water level below to rise several meters in an instant, sweeping everything into the River Thames. It was the flow of a chaotic era, where one could find both prisoner shackles still stuck in the cracks of the tiles. But what if you don't want to go down into the sewer, but still want to experience the horror of this river? Come to the Clerkenwell area, stand next to a manhole cover on a quiet night, and stay silent. You'll hear the roar of the River Fleet, the sound of a monster trying to escape its iron cage. Or, if you want to sip some coffee while facing the truth, visit King Lud's pub. Old regulars say this pub used to have a section of the River Fleet running through it, and you could see the flow beneath a glass panel in the floor. Thus, you can both drink tea and look down at the dark, rushing river flowing right beneath your shoes. A strange feeling, isn't it? The elegance of the English and the decay of history are separated by only a thin pane of glass. Are we truly progressing, or are we just getting better at hiding our mistakes under a smooth layer of asphalt? If one day that glass pane shatters, are you ready to face what we once denied? Please share your thoughts below. I'm really curious to know what you would do if you heard that roar beneath your feet. If you feel these secrets need to be brought to light, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the channel. That's how we can peel back the next layers of this city together, because right next to the Fleet River is the dwelling place of thousands of ghosts not made from sludge, but from the bones of souls chained to the past. Let's step into Liverpool Street Station to face the most terrifying chapter, the Ghost Hospital Bedlam. Leaving the Fleet River. I ventured deep into the heart of Liverpool Street Station. Here, the modernity of the trains cannot hide a shocking truth. You are standing in an area once associated with Bedlam. To put it more bluntly, you are walking on layers of soil that have preserved the traces of the unluckiest people in history. In 2015, during the excavation of a tunnel for the Crossrail project, workers were surprised to stumble upon a multi-layered cemetery with over 3,300 skeletons stacked on top of each other. Those who remained here were not afforded the opportunity to be laid to rest in what we today consider a dignified manner. They were buried in layers, like a large post-medieval cemetery, where thousands of Londoners were interred across multiple epidemics, including cases related to Bedlam. But what's haunting isn't just the end of life, but how they might have lived. Bedlam wasn't exactly a healing place in the modern sense. It reflects a time when understanding of mental health was very limited and societal fear sometimes translated into cold treatment. There was a time when this place allowed the public to visit patients as a form of entertainment with a curious flavor for a very low fee. Said to be around a penny, cheap during excavations, archaeologists found material evidence that is hard to ignore. There are objects bearing circular drilling marks, a form of primitive, incorrect, and desperate medical intervention by today's standards, once believed to help relieve abnormalities in the patient's head. There are also other objects bearing the marks of prolonged captivity, lesions that evoke a sense of restricted freedom, which at that time might have been seen as a process rather than a dangerous act. Now, every time you stand waiting for the train at platform 10, let a moment of stillness seep into your mind. Remember that, just a few handspans from the concrete barrier, thousands of souls still lie dormant in the darkness. Are the vibrations from the daily freight train awakening the pain of the past? Or are they just distant echoes of an era that wants to be forgotten? If you want to continue going deeper in this way, you can subscribe to the channel. It's not to support anyone, just so that next time we meet again in the right place, at the right pace, and continue our conversation about the things that lie beneath the surface that a city often doesn't want to mention. The souls at Bedlam are only a part of the picture. To truly understand the apathy of this city, we need to go further, plunging straight into the black holes of history, where thousands were dumped during the terrifying nights of the plague and platforms were erased from the map, where time has permanently stopped. When you leave Liverpool Street Station and board another tube line, be prepared. You might be hurtling through the largest mass burial grounds this city has ever had to create during a crisis. We are entering the third chapter of our journey, the Plague Pit and Ghost Stations. In 1665, the plague claimed nearly a quarter of London's population. When cemeteries run out of space, people are forced to dig large pits for emergency burials, a method that is faster and more practical than it is dignified. The thought-provoking truth is that modern London is built upon so many layers, like a Swiss cheese with historical voids deep beneath the surface. A prime example is Aldgate Station, where engineers constructing the line encountered a mass burial ground containing over 1,000 skeletons. Instead of relocating the entire area, they chose the option of building through it. This means that as you stand waiting for the train, just a short distance from the concrete surface are the remaining traces of a period when the city didn't have enough time to say a proper goodbye. The oxygen-deficient environment underground can cause some traces to be preserved longer than we might think. Therefore, each time an excavation is opened, people often talk about the unpleasant smell of old earth that rises, enough to make even seasoned workers take a step back. Not only that, this city also hides away abandoned buildings. Over 40 ghost train stations have been removed from passenger maps, but still physically exist in the shadows, Have you ever felt a chill run down your spine when the train suddenly slowed down in the middle of a dark tunnel? Sometimes it's just technique, but sometimes that feeling comes from a very simple thought. You just walked past a mass burial site, or an abandoned train platform, still lying dormant in the darkness like a locked room. Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you've ever seen strange flashing train lights in a tunnel section, or heard an unusual sound as the train passed by. And now, we'll take a closer look at how a city deals with the consequences of modern life as it faces the next monster, an entity that grows from the very excess of daily life, and at times is powerful enough to clog the arteries of London. A fatberg is not just waste, it is a testament to the excess of modern society. Don't let the name Fat Iceberg fool you into thinking it's a soft, mushy mass. In reality, this is a type of boneless concrete jelly so hard that you can't break it with a water spray. You need a jackhammer and a shovel. Through a chemical reaction called saponification, cooking grease combined with calcium in the sewer pipe walls transformed this mixture into a concrete-like solid material. Its scent is truly deadly. A thick mixture of rotting food, waste, and hydrogen sulfide gas, the gas with the characteristic rotten egg smell that can cause fainting or death in confined spaces. Inside the belly of this monster is a horrifying garbage museum. When scientists dissected the 130-ton fatberg in Whitechapel, they found an incredible structure, a core of cooking fat from fast food restaurants, tightly wrapped by millions of non-dissolvable wet wipes which acted as adhesive bandages. Even more horrifying, used medical supplies, dentures, and even toys were found pickled inside the fat mass. Currently, these tumors are appearing everywhere in the city's vascular system. London has to spend about £1 million a month just to send workers in full protective gear down to fight them. The scariest thing is that fatbergs are actually alive in the worst way. They are home to billions of superbugs and parasites, turning each mass of fat into a biological bomb ready to explode. Even though this monster has no eyes and no heart, it is growing from what we flush down the sink and toilet. Even when a piece of it is locked in a museum glass case, it continues to sweat oily substances and grow strange fungal spores. Are we creating a new ecosystem with our own hands that is more devastating than anything history has left behind? Please leave your thoughts on this disgusting entity below. If you found this 100-hour journey unraveled the truths London has always hidden, don't forget to subscribe so we can continue exploring other dark corners of humanity. If you're still brave enough to continue, click subscribe so we can embark on the final leg of this 100-hour exploration together, in a place where sin and destitution are eternally imprisoned in darkness. The sinful Adelphi Arches tunnels. If Happisburgh loses land, then dozens of other towns in the English Midlands will be losing their heartbeat by 2026. This is a new form of extinction. Service desertification. You still see houses, you still see streets, but that town has essentially died functionally. Look at the disappearance of physical bank branches and post offices. In towns like Wigton or Haltwhistle, withdrawing cash or sending a parcel has become a small intercontinental journey. In 2026, when everything is pushed to the cloud, the elderly and vulnerable in remote towns are left in a digital whiteout. When the last bank closes, the only pharmacy withdraws. That town is officially erased from the operational system of modern society. This is a deliberate process of withholding life support. The government and corporations call it optimization, but the local residents call it abandonment. A town without a bank, a healthcare station, and connected public transport will quickly become a sinkhole where the youth flee, leaving only those with no other options. This silent obliteration is frightening in that it doesn't create sensational images of ruin to make the headlines. It is decay from within. The houses still stand there, but their value gradually decreases with each service cut. At a certain threshold, the town becomes a soulless husk, a gray zone on the economic map that people merely pass by on the highway. Are we creating a two-tiered nation? On one side, the brilliant, smart megacities, and on the other, the abandoned islands that are left to fend for themselves. If the right to access basic services is stripped away, do people still have an obligation to remain loyal to a system that has ignored their existence? If you feel this injustice needs to be voiced, please hit the subscribe button. We need to stand together to prevent long-established communities from being turned into ghosts in the archives of the 21st century. My 100-hour journey concluded in a place where the line between luxury and destitution was separated by only one layer of tile flooring. If Bedlam was the pain of the past, and the plague pits were the marks of natural disasters, then the Adelphi Arches were the moral dark zone, a place that held the hidden truths about an unjust Victorian London. Above the Adelphi Arches is the magnificent Adelphi Terrace with buildings for the upper class. But right beneath their feet was a vast, damp network of brick vaults, originally built for horse-drawn freight wagons. These tunnels quickly became a dark world due to a lack of control, a place where the laws of the time seemed to have no reach. Here, the contrast of society is most evident. While the gentlemen and ladies above enjoyed their wine, right beneath their shoes was the dwelling place of the destitute and the realm of illegal activities. There's an ironic truth that the secret passages designed to connect the two worlds allowed those above to sneak down into this dark zone without fear of being seen under their true identities. But what stunned me the most in my final hours here was the existence of the shadow children. There are generations who were born and raised within the Adelphi Arches who have never truly known the light of the sun. They survive by scavenging for scraps along the banks of the Thames, sleeping on filthy straw piles. Many children were left forever at the entrance of the tunnel when the tide rose suddenly, becoming names forgotten by the city. Today, most of the Adelphi Arches have been filled in, but maintenance workers in the area still report feeling heavy and hearing footsteps running on the damp stone floor even when they are alone. The dark stains from the torches of the previous century are still etched on the brick walls, like silent witnesses to a time when people were abandoned in the heart of the capital. After 100 hours, I realized London is more than just architectural wonders. It's a living entity trying to cover up historical scars under a smooth layer of asphalt. What we just went through is the hidden cost behind today's greatness. Can you still stroll casually down those bustling streets, knowing that right beneath your feet? The darkness is whispering these stories. 100 hours of exploring beneath London is not just a journey through bricks and stones or sewers. It was a journey into the subconscious of one of the world's greatest cities. We have seen rivers chained, cemeteries forgotten, and even monsters born from our own excess. London chooses to build its grandeur by covering up the scars of the past. But after all, darkness never disappears. It only waits for those curious enough to dive down and listen to its whispers. After seeing what's really happening under your shoes, will you still look at modern cities the same way? Are we making progress, or are we just becoming more skilled at hiding humanity's mistakes under a smooth layer of asphalt? Please leave your comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective on this hidden truth. Saitu, if you feel this journey has given you a different perspective on the world, don't forget to like and share this video with your friends who are also passionate about exploring mysteries. And especially, please subscribe and turn on notifications. That's your ticket to join me on my next journeys into the forbidden zones around the globe. The next secret might be right under your feet. Note: the content in this video is based on historical documents, scientific reports, and on-site surveys conducted at authorized locations. We absolutely do not encourage unauthorized entry into the sewer system, tunnels, or underground restricted areas without the permission of the authorities and specialized protective equipment. These areas pose an extremely high risk of toxic gases, unstable structures, and sudden water surges. Explore with wisdom. Don't risk your life. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the heart of London. See you in the deeper depths of truth.